I'm Cassie Jaye, and I'm the director of the Red Pill documentary coming 2016. I wanted to give a brief overview about what has happened with this film, everything you needed to know, and my statements on the false allegations that are going on. So here it is. The Red Pill follows my journey as a feminist learning about the men's rights movement. This film is a comprehensive look at today's gender politics. It will present all opposing ideologies, including feminist views, but focusing on what men's rights activists believe, since that is what hasn't been explored in depth in a film before. This film is an honest look at these debates and follows my journey trying to hear and understand all points of view. On October 12th, I launched a Kickstarter campaign in an effort to raise the needed funds to complete this film, because I was previously denied from the many filmmaking grants I submitted to, and the organizations that offered to help fund my film wanted to have creative control over the film's approach and message in an effort to support their cause. I would not give up creative control to a partisan foundation, and they wouldn't fund the film without having that control. So in a final attempt to complete this film, I turned to Kickstarter. The first 2 weeks of my Kickstarter campaign validated my worries that making a balanced film doesn't sell. Some of my feminist friends posted the Red Pill's video link on their social media sites and immediately received disgusted comments in reaction to the statements made by men's rights activists, MRAs, in the video. On the flip side, MRAs and anti-feminists watched the Kickstarter video and were appalled by the feminist section, assuming that I had painted the feminists in a pleasant light in contrast to the MRAs speaking in the video. Then there were those who saw the video and understood that I was giving everyone their opportunity to speak their piece, and those were the early adopters to believing in the impact this film could have. Thank you, guys. Still, 2 weeks went by, marking our halfway point in our Kickstarter campaign, and we were only 27% funded. I was preparing to throw in the towel when suddenly the tipping point happened. Journalist Milo Yiannopoulos from Breitbart.com reported on my difficulties finding funding and the resistance I was experiencing while making this film. His article inspired a flood of free speech and anti-censorship crusaders to go to the Kickstarter campaign page and make a pledge. Within 1 day, we went from 27% funded to well over surpassing our Kickstarter goal. The majority of our backers, our Kickstarter backers, are neither feminist nor MRA self-identifying individuals. While there have been a minority of MRA and feminist backers who believe in the importance of letting everyone have an opportunity to speak and be heard in context without manipulation. Since the rise of attention and support for this film, there have now been many attempts to defame me by spreading false allegations that I thought were so incredulous that I never even bothered responding to, unless I was asked in an interview. However, with the advent of social media, falsehoods can spread like wildfire, and when enough people blindly consume catchy sound bites without questioning the validity, it just keeps spreading. I'd like to address these slanderous claims that are being purported by feminist writers and bloggers. Blogger David Futrelle has launched a misogynistic smear campaign against me. He has waged unfounded and baseless attacks against my character and reputation. I believe in an effort to discredit myself and the Red Pill movie so that others who maybe have not been actively following the truths of this film and the Kickstarter campaign will then write off this film entirely, which will create roadblocks for us when we are attempting to obtain distribution, festival screenings, and reviews from film critics who may have otherwise been supportive of this film. David Futrelle's false allegations have been that this film is funded by MRAs, which conflicts with Cassie's attempts to have nonpartisan funding. To this I say, self-identifying MRA backers as well as feminist backers on our Kickstarter have been in the minority. The majority of our funding is from middle-of-the-road supporters of free speech and combating censorship. However, this argument is moot because backers on Kickstarter have no creative control over this film, which is why Kickstarter was the only way I could ever receive funding while maintaining creative control to make the balanced film I intend to make. Now, the 5 people who pledged $10,000 and are rewarded with an associate producer credit, based on Kickstarter's regulations, they are prohibited from having any creative license or ownership over this film. And I will also add that those 5 backers that gave $10,000 all of them do not self-identify as MRAs. But again, it doesn't even matter because they don't have any creative control over this film anyways. Moving on. Another false allegation made by David Futrelle is that the award I won in Cannes, France is a fake because it was not won at Festival de Cannes, which is considered one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world. David Futrelle's blatant lie that my award win is fake is slander. My Best Documentary Award from the Cannes Independent Film Festival is real and was won among other very talented independent filmmakers and films. Cannes is a city in France that has had many events that include the city's name in them. One such event was called the Cannes Independent Film Festival, which is not affiliated with Festival de Cannes. And as an independent filmmaker pursuing screenings for my low-budget documentary called Daddy I Do, I was thrilled to be able to screen it to a French audience. And even more thrilled to accept the award for Best Documentary that was selected by a jury at that festival. I accepted that award in a screening room with other talented documentary filmmakers from around the world that deserved that award just as much as I did. And for David Futrelle to call it a fake award is a disgusting attack on all independent filmmakers who put their blood, sweat, finances, and tears into making their project and then passionately try to obtain an audience for that film. So what does this all mean? There is a smear campaign against me, a female filmmaker, who is looking to make a balanced film allowing all views to be represented. While one side is concerned about being taken out of context like they so often have been, they have instead chose to take a gamble and support this film in the hopes that it is truly the balanced film that I am insisting it will be. While the other side, with some exceptions, has first passively declined showing any support for this film until the film started receiving support from those they oppose. That's when they have allowed for one feminist blogger to lead the charge of a full-on smear campaign against me based on nothing but lies and his own malice. I interviewed many feminists for The Red Pill who told me, go to David Futrelle's site. He's done all the research you need to know about the men's rights movement. He is the best source. I intended to interview David Futrelle and use his findings and research in my film, but how can I accept him as a credible source now? To all the people who are warning me about attacks I will receive from men's rights activists, please present a mirror to your own. Lastly, I'll leave with reiterating the fact that I still intend to make a fair film allowing the audience to hear all points of view, learn the facts, and study past actions in order to come to an educated conclusion. Thank you to everyone who has supported and continues to support a film that represents open dialogue without censorship.